So far on our channel, the South Korean K9 self-propelled howitzer by Hanwha Aerospace has been mentioned a few times. It was actually one of our first videos when discussing the gun within Estonia's defense forces. We also discussed the weapon within the context of Poland's relationship to South Korea. And finally, we put it up as a possibility for Latvia's armed forces in modernizing their weapons. The country would eventually go with the Swedish Archer, which was also on our list. But we have yet to discuss the weapon within a Norwegian and Finnish context, which is pretty significant considering the two countries have continued to want more and more of these machines, exercising options to procure additional guns. So in this video, we take a look at Finland and Norway's love affair with the K9 howitzer. It was back in early 2017 that the Finnish Defence Force ordered 48 ex-Republic of Korea Army K9 Thunder self-propelled artillery systems with an option for 48 additional systems. The guns, acquired at a cost of €146 million, would be overhauled and upgraded to Finnish specifications. And while we've already reported on Estonia's history with the K9, it's important to note that Estonia and Finland procured their first K9s together. That very same year, the Norwegian Defence Materiel Agency, or Forsvarsmateriell, announced the signing of a contract with Hanwha for 24 K9s, with an option for 24 more. Defence News reported at the time that the contract is worth 1.8 billion kroner, today equivalent to around €153.6 million. This original deal included 6 K10 ammunition resupply vehicles. We couldn't find information on Finland's selection process, but Defence News did report that Norwegian authorities said that the K9 best satisfied the Army's requirements in replacing the country's old M109A3 GNMs. In 2016, trials were held by Norway, and the K9 went up against Germany's PZH 2000s, France's Caesar, and Swiss-made M109 Crate. Seemingly pleased with their South Korean-made guns, both Norway and Finland would go on to order more K9s, exercising options and expanding their agreements. We won't go deal by deal, but we will say that Finland now has committed to taking a total of 96 of these guns with deliveries ongoing. Its most recent deal was struck in 2022 with Finnish Army Command Artillery Inspector Colonel Pertti Holma saying, "A key advantage to this system is that it combines elements of mobility, force protection, and firepower. As such, the self-propelled howitzer has turned out to be reliable and provided excellently validated use case experiences, both relating to training persons liable for military service and conducting fires." The most recent K9 deal for these two countries saw Norway order 24 more in September 2025. It was notably the third contract signed with Hanwha for K9s. As reported by the Defence Post, the purchase was made to expand Oslo's artillery fleet to a total of 52 systems by 2027. It was stated that Hanwha met Norway's requirements for time, cost, and performance. As part of the deal in 2022, Norwegian authorities cited the platform's performance and reliability in Arctic conditions as a deciding factor. On this last note, Norway has indeed made it clear that its purchase of more K9 howitzers related to its establishment of its Finnmark Brigade in the country's north. Clearly, performance has been satisfactory with Norway's existing guns, and so the ability to deliver more systems in a timely manner sealed the deal. One notable deal we will specify is one signed in 2023 between Norway, Finland, and South Korea to facilitate an easier collaboration on the shipment of spare parts between the two Nordic nations, all without the need for an approval from South Korea. MilitaryLeak.com notes that prior to the agreement, the procedure was bureaucratic, comprehensive, and time-consuming, with the website explaining, "A signed application had to be mailed to South Korea before any reserved parts could be moved between Norway and Finland. The agreement has allowed for the two nations to simply send a report to the Koreans after the spare parts have been delivered. To be more specific, the agreement allows the two nations to freely transfer spare parts between the countries, even though this involves South Korean military material, where restrictions are typically imposed." So there you go, K9 has been quite the winner in Northern Europe despite being a very distinctly non-European brand. It's so interesting that Sweden's neighbours have opted for key products that have a Swedish competitor. In the case of the K9, Sweden has the Archer. Finland and Norway also chose the F-35 over the Swedish Gripen, something that we'll discuss in a future video. But stepping back to consider various factors, it looks like politics and buying quote-unquote local are only important up to a point. We have to imagine that choosing a tracked artillery platform over the wheeled Archer was a huge factor, as the K9 can handle the challenging terrain of these Nordic countries in all seasons and may not be using roads as much, roads where the Archer would excel over its tracked competitor. Being from South Korea could also be an advantage for buyers. Why is this? Well, it was highlighted in a December 2024 CNBC report that South Korea's defense industry has been booming in recent times as the country's weapons cost less, arrive faster, and are almost as good as their top-tier counterparts from other countries. And so while many people have great things to say about Sweden's wheeled Archer system, it's notable that several close allies have chosen a product from the other side of the world rather than the offering from nearby BAE Systems Bofors. But, well, at least this type of competition should keep all relevant parties on their toes and doing their best to offer effective and affordable weapons in a timely manner. But what do you think of Norway and Finland choosing South Korea to meet their self-propelled artillery needs? Let us know by leaving a comment.